It's Talking in Stations. I'm Matterall. February 15th. Let's talk about EVE Online. Today has been a big day for Pappy in that they've completely taken another constellation inside of the Helm's Deep area. Looks like they took out some expensive Sotios and some are reinforced. We'll talk about one of the systems in the constellation that was just taken, 39P, and how important it is. We'll also talk about the historic BTAC-R faction Fortizar. It was actually an NPC station before it changed into a faction Fortizar. That was just destroyed minutes ago. We have some footage and we'll have an interview with Seddow as soon as he arrives. We'll also talk about Null Secnia and what they are up to with some of their cool propaganda. And we'll try to get you more information on Brave and Red Alliance. Both those groups have some internal discord. I'm still not sure how significant it is. There's rumor about silver tickets being used, but we think that is unsubstantiated. Could just be metagaming. We don't know. So there you go. Let's go into the news at Talking in Stations. All right, first thing and probably most significant thing is the constellation of PS TAC is this one here. Let's actually get you in a little closer. As you know, Helm's Deep was attacked last week, and a lot of this constellation here was taken, and this one as well. Some of this stuff was reinforced but not taken. And this, as you can see, has just recently been taken. So the Pappy forces are continuing to march on Helm's Deep and should complete it by Wednesday. They have one constellation left right up here. That constellation's name is 31X. That will be the final one. After that, the Imperium really comes down to the O-TAC-E constellation, which is the home of 1DQ, their capital. And even there, I believe some targets were attacked in, I want to say, let's see here. I don't have information, but there was definitely, we'll look at kill mails. I think there was a couple of attacks inside that constellation too. But for now, let's go back to Helm's Deep. Back to iHub ownership. And 39P. 39P was actually the headquarters of Karma Fleet. And from what I understand, not only do you get bonuses for having your capital, bonuses on your ADMs, your defense modifiers, but it was very active. It was the most active system in Delve behind 1DQ and also now clearly T5Z, because T5Z is being utilized as a headquarters for the invading army. So clearly the defending army and the invading army's systems are the most active. And then right behind that is this system, 39P. So that's a big deal. So as you can see, it was destroyed. Let's go over to kills and see if we can see a Sotio in here. Oh, that's a 23G. This is a different Sotio. Here's DG TAC. That's the second one. I believe that was a third one. Or a third one might be reinforced now. I'm not sure. But this one was worth 55 billion. But this was in Aquarius. That's probably not the super expensive one. There's one here. I think it's this one. Yeah, look at the price on this. 240 billion ISK. And that is because probably it had this...
it was the T2 rig. It was the first ever Sotio killed with that rig.
Thank you. I didn't know that, Gurgorin. Gurgorin is here with me. That is the first time. I didn't know that was the first time a T2 rig was destroyed. The consumable manufacturing rig. Wow.
Yeah, if you click on that rig, you can see previous kills with that thing in it, and there are none else on Z-Kill.
Wild.
Although there was a third Sotio killed after that yesterday, but last I heard, it was not yet on Z-Kill.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I couldn't find it. Thank you. It was not either it's bugged or who knows what, but it didn't show up. But 3 Sotios Satios in general are pretty expensive. Nothing like that one that we just saw. That was an actual T2 rig, so it was extraordinary in its amount. But they're normally, let's see here. That's an extra large array. They're normally, what, 50 billion? That seems kind of high too. I think the Satios are, let's look at the actual. Fitted was 10 billion. Satio itself, how much are those things? About 30 billion. Okay, that's more than I expected. In any case, these things are not small, so they're kind of expensive. 1 second, we have to do a little business here. Okay, so as you can see, lots of damage in the manufacturing sector for the Imperium. I'm not sure how important these are. They have 2 Satios inside of 1 DQ they could build there. And but that T2 Satio was a big kill. That happened. That actually happened near M2. We'll take a look at that real quick. That happened right here, I believe, in PDE. Or no, 23G, I think it was. So that was in this sector here. But the Helm's Deep sector is the one that we were focused on, and how that will probably fall by Wednesday. So I think as far as war on the ground, Pappy continues to control the board. They're really having their way with Delve in this sense. I know that Imperium is fighting back and fighting hard. They have limited options because they are outnumbered. I think most of their attacks are actually happening over in Catch Aquarius. And actually, why don't we turn to that section, because Fire Coalition, Fed Up specifically, just lost Faction Fortizar and BTAC R. Now that again is a classic station. We'll show you that footage and we'll talk to Seddow in just a moment. Seddow, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good. Let me turn you up just a little bit, make sure everybody can hear you. So it's good to have you back, and this time we'll record your voice. I have a video. I'll start playing it now as we start to talk, but you just destroyed the old BTAC R station in Immensia.
Correct. Yeah, we did just finish blowing that up.
Yeah, can you tell me what's going on over in your... We'll watch the last minute of it before it explodes here. What are you doing over in Immensia and the areas there? Who are you fighting and how is it going? How's the campaign going?
I mean, like we said last time I was on here, I mean, we're still deployed to Great Wildlands area, so we're on the east side of the map. We still fight Fire Coalition on a daily basis. Our friends Volta have moved in to Curse, and so now we actually are able to contest fire properly in US time zone. Or not US, sorry, EU time zone. So there's been a lot of fights against them. Same sort of thing. We just fight fire in EU time zone, and in the US time zone, we try to make our own fights. One of the ways we do that is through anchoring citadels and not anchoring citadels. But with last week, I had noticed that the group Deepwater Hooligans had been, clearing out Amencia, and they had made all these claims that all these Amencia groups were UVACing, and I did some digging, and the most of the Amencia groups, like Fed Up's already moved out to Fountain. They're trying to take Jason's Fountain. And then you have these Brave Leaks, who's Brave pulling out a Catch. And then you have Rosetta Regnum, who's already pulled out of Amencia. So Amencia is basically a wasteland. And turns out there's still a lot of large, expensive structures in there that are pretty much going to die. Last night, or 2 nights ago, there was a faction Fortizar owned by Warped Intentions in Amencia that we killed. We actually dropped the Brave actually formed to defend that with a couple Munins, and we dropped on top of them. I can get you the BR for that one in a little bit, and killed them. But there's like 3 or 4 faction Fortizars through Amencia that are timed for the U.S. time zone, and we said, you know what, we'll kill it. And so we went through, refed a few stuff. No one's going to be there to defend them since they abandoned Amencia, and As soon as we refed it, I got PM'd by the leader of Fed Up saying, "Do you really have to kill this thing? Like it's historic or whatever?" And I said, "Well, if you sell it to me, I won't kill it." And then he said, "So you're gonna be that guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be that guy. I'll be that evil guy, I guess." Um, so we ended up killing it earlier, like literally 20 minutes ago, with no contest, no gunner. Um, just a nice little faction Fortizar for the Z kill.
Yeah, we just watched that footage. That was my old house. But so did you guys even talk about price, or did they just plead for you not to kill it, but they would keep
PM
ownership of it?
because it's an historic monument. I said, "Well, if you sell it to me, I won't kill it." And then he said, "Oh, so you're gonna be that guy?" And so I proceeded to and then he proceeded to just never answer me back. So I assumed it was still fair meat.
Well, that's interesting. So it was really no bargain was even attempted.
I mean, to be honest, that fort, if it wasn't gonna die by us, it was gonna die by someone else.
Right.
We,
Because the area is abandoned and you weren't gonna, unless it was yours, you weren't gonna protect it.
I mean, it was BTEC R5 lost its iHub, I think, like 3 weeks ago, and then it's just Amencia is a wasteland right now. There's nothing, um, you know, there's nothing that's going to be there to contest it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the iHub situation in that area. BTEC R is right up here in the top left. You can see it was a mining system because it was a dead end system. And back before interceptors could get through bubbles, you could just really bubble up this whole area. And really, nobody could get to you before you were able to like put your mining ships away. So for this whole area, it was kind of an industrial mining place. And but that whole constellation looks like 2 or 3 constellations seem to be, well, FedUp still has a little bit of territory here, but all the iHubs seem to be getting
Vindy.
destroyed.
The only group that's still living in Amencia is Vindy, and if you look on the Dotland map, it looks like they're right next door. But if you look on the actual map in game, Vindy's like at the very south part, basically near Dedoroid, so they're way farther than like north and middle Amencia.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay, so I didn't know that FedUp has moved over to Fountain, trying to take territory up there. Does that sound right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's if you go look at Fountain Eye Hubs, they took like the first constellation that you come in from Delve. That's supposed to be their new home post-war, from what I understand.
Yeah, I see. I guess they're making the move.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think's going on? So you're going to clean up because there's a lot of stuff to destroy in this area. Kind of clean it off for
Well, not
whoever comes
so
next.
Deepwater Hooligans. If you look at their kill board, they've been mostly cleaning it up. They've done most of the work, but they poked me like last week and said, "Hey, there's some stuff that we don't really want to go at it alone. Do you think you could come?" And I was like, "All right, what is there?" And he's like, "Well, there's 5 faction Fortizars, a Satio, a Tatara." And I'm like, "Oh, those are nice kills to have." So, yeah, 2 days ago for that Warped Intentions faction Fortizar legacy formed like 30, 40 Munins to contest it from Deepwater and a couple carriers, and we came in on that and killed some carriers and killed some Munins, and then I don't think they're ever going to contest anything again because they know we're going to show up to kill these faction Fortizars because they're juicy kill mills and there's very few left in the game, especially with all the ones dying in Delve.
Yeah, if you own them, they become a little more rare, a little pricier.
It puts a target on the head, and I mean, we can be we could be the evil people that everyone says no wants to kill it, but I mean, it's a good kill mode to have. I mean,
Yeah, if
I
you
don't
have the
think anyone
kill mill, your name's on it forever.
I don't think anyone blames us for like going around and doing it. I mean, I don't know what if I didn't like I said if we didn't kill it, someone else is gonna kill it. So
Yeah, no, it's more like a bargain could have been struck for it. It seems like they should have been able to find it,
I
some
sent
kind
you the
of.
BR for the Warped Intentions faction Fortizar.
Oh, okay, cool. I was looking at Deepwater Hooligans stuff, but I'll put up that battle report now. So explain this battle report a little bit.
So Deepwater got on grid to shoot the Fortizar. We were waiting, just waiting because we knew Legacy had capitals formed. Through Deepwater, they told us they had capitals formed, and so as soon as the capitals committed to the grid, we basically went in right on top of their carriers. They abandoned fighters immediately and tried to save as many as they could. There were only like 10 carriers there. We only caught like 3. We're sitting at 0 on the PDS of the Fortizar, killing the carriers, and then once the carriers die, we switch to the Munins. And then as soon as we kill like 3, 4 Munins, they proceed to run away. And then we kill the Fortizar. It's pretty simple.
Right. Let's look at that, where that is in Imensia on the map. So you're active in a number of places, Imensia, but also in other areas?
Well, I mean,
Or
right
it's
now
mostly
our
Imensia?
main goal is still fighting Fire Coalition, and that's what we do pretty much on a daily
Yeah.
basis now, alongside Volta being deployed in Curse.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask, are you hanging out with Volta?
Yeah, they're longtime buddies of mine, ever since the test days and Goku fleets. That's how I got to meet most of the Volta guys, hunting with them, alongside of them when Thera was still a thing.
When Thera was
Yeah, I
still a thing?
remember
Yeah.
people calling you Dreadbomb Volta Pets when you were just getting started.
I mean, when we only had 20 dudes, the best we could do was merge with Volta fleets, and I mean, okay. I mean, we only had 20 dudes back then, so we couldn't really do much on our own. We had to rely on some content from friends.
Yeah, when you pinged RC for those were pretty fun fleets.
Well, I mean, you're having a ton of success, Seddow. I think it's undeniable. You're crunching
I'd
through
call
the
it
stuff.
success, but I mean, it's not anything crazy. I mean, if another group was in my place, they'd be having the same success. There's no fights, there's no like contest on this stuff, and I get why because the focus is on Delve. But I mean, I guess we're having success, but I mean, it's sort of kicking over a sandcastle. I
I
mean,
see. An empty
yeah,
sandcastle because they took
yeah, an
off.
empty sandcastle.
Yeah. You think that's what's going on all over legacy space or former legacy space? Or is there resistance in some places? Like I know you took out the Watchmen, but
I
is there
mean,
any?
the Watchmen sort of collapsed on their own as soon as then it moved over to Catch. Like we really were just like,
You took their
blobs
space.
dropping them. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
just we took their space. We were just blopsing on them every now and then next thing you know they send out a ping that they're merging and all going to test, and I was like, oh, well, it's a lot of free space to have.
yeah. This
I
is
mean
all.
but from the looks of it, I mean the only space that Legacy will like protect is like Catch and Impasse, and I think they draw the line at Tenerifis. Tenerifis, if you look at like a map,
Mhm.
Tenerifis is like the no man's zone.
Yeah, I was just looking at your holdings here in Catch. It's a bunch of systems. And have you mixed it up with Brave at all? Like, are you?
Like Fighting Brave.
Yeah, are you fighting Brave at all
There
in there?
was a couple times we fight Brave. Let me find a beer. They'll come to a few timers every now and then. We'll get to fight them, and it's a real fun time. I got the Villy was leading a legacy fleet into Amencia 3 weeks ago, 2 3 weeks ago, and I got to fight Villy, and it sort of felt like Padawan versus Apprentice because Villy's the one who I learned under, and it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Let me go
Who,
find that BR.
who
But
came out ahead? Did he fry you with lightning, or did you throw him down a shaft?
I mean, it was sort of an unfair matchup with Tengus versus Munins in the first place, and so he was already fighting at a disadvantage. But he knew what he was doing, and he played it properly. We lost some ships that I didn't think we'd lose because he was calling targets properly. I mean, it was way better than any Legacy FC we fought against in a while.
What's it like fighting your old master?
I mean, it was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it was funny. So we were killing the Tatara, and then he puts in. We have minnows on us. We fight on the Tatara. We skirmish a little bit on the Tatara, and then Tatara dies. He goes back to the Fortizar. No one's really lost much, and then we gate over two jumps to a structure. We sit on the structure. Deepwater, who we're flying alongside at the time, goes and like to another timer that they bridge to, and Billy comes over to the Astra on the grid on a gate that's on the same grid and says in local, "Are you just going to sit in the Astra? You're going to come fight?" And so then I proceed to like warp over and take the fight, and it was sort of cool because I mean he knew we wanted the fight, and I don't know, it was cool because he basically just called me out and he's like, "Are you going to fight me? Or are you just going to sit over there?"
And you fought him. Well, that's cool. I like that. Like, I like those themes. Those are like heroic themes.
I'll find that BR here in a second.
All right, thanks, Seddow. All right, we're talking with Seddow from Dreadbomb. That's his group. You might know Seddow from the war with between Winter and Legacy Coalition. It lasted about a year. Seddow is a big part of the Legacy forces at that point, working under Test. He later broke off and did his own thing with Dreadbomb, and they're back in the area, but now under their own name, doing their own thing. We're also tracking some information coming in 1DQ. It looks like there's some kind of an assault happening with fleets. Not sure exactly what that's about or how deep that'll go. All right, let's look at this battle report here.
Billy was FC. He didn't end up on the battle report, but he was FC during that fight.
All right, this is also in Immensio. Funny, Dread Bomb versus Test.
A lot of old test guys versus a lot of old test guys.
Do they give you a high five in local, or are you considered?
No, a lot of them don't like us at all. So
they're not happy about it, huh?
I guess not. You get a lot of hate mail. Let's just say that.
Well, it's all right. I think all that levels out with time, I think. All right, cool. Well, thanks for that. So GXK Seddow versus Billy, and it went. Looks like Dread Bomb's favor at that time. All right, cool. Well, visit us again. I know you have to run. Thanks for giving us a little time that you could.
But
yeah, appreciate it.
I mean, you'll see more faction photos or Kimmels, I assume, throughout the week. There's a couple left through that area space that, I mean, why would I not topple them over? Yeah.
Absolutely. Take them down, mark your name on them for good. Gregorian's right. That's when you get your name on the actual structure. Plus, it's a new world. I did look at that destruction video, and I was a little sad. But I realize it's a new era. You know, the NPC stations out in nullsec, that era is over.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you'll see the same thing in M2 probably 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Come again. We'll see you again. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. I also wanted to show you guys a little bit of something I was actually very impressed by. This is the Vanguard Action News group. I think that's a member of Nullsecnia Propaganda.
Yeah, that's Ryba, which is a corp in NSH.
Yeah, good stuff. I really enjoyed this video here. Let me grab the... They have a new video. I should start with that. Let me pull that one up. And take a look at this. This is brand new, and that's why it's current.
Welcome back to The Van, Ryba's exclusive news network with your favorite tanker pilot, Lesia, where we're serving up free trick and isk heavy bras. God, I know exactly what I said, but all anyone's gonna fucking hear is, you probably noticed something different here. Well, this is Hazard County, and they do things different here. This is Bo Duke and Luke Duke, and they do things different here. They're cousins, and they fight the system. Battle report for November 19th, 2020. Deciding it was time to launch their first true assault of the campaign against Smooth Mountains, Ryba mustered its forces, and the brave Capsuleers left home, eager to prove themselves against their veteran opponents. 024 to Eve Standard Time, the fleet of Ryba's Ravens land on grid with the Smooth Mines Moon Mining Astra House, or as most people will know it by, an Athenor.
Everybody lock up the Athenor, start shooting it.
The fleet's drones are launched to engage the structure, whilst the Ravens' Hailfire cruise missiles are unleashed upon it. Comms were a mix of quiet joking and steady intel bursts of movements inside the constellation. Those gathered were ready for a fight and hoping one would come soon.
All right, I love the flavor that one has. I'm going to give you guys that link now, so you guys can check this stuff out. He's got way too few views for the quality of the work, so happy to put this in there. Just find the... Where is the stream? Did I close it? Okay, so sorry guys, give me a second here to adjust. There you go. Here's the link to that video. That's an older one. As you could see, the date came up and it was November, but it's just really well done. But what they've done recently is this one here, which will pop onto screen, and it is new. Let's see, this is No, this is the Fortizar drop. I think I bookmarked the same one, so I'll just do this manually. Here it is. Check this out for a second.
World War has fallen upon us. Here we are, the Russian army is facing a group of mighty foes, the catastrophe of free men who seek our ruin, defending all that is dear. Mighty strokes of war have already been dealt against the enemy. What kind of a people do they think we are? Is it possible they do not realize the glorious defense by the Russian armies and people, that we shall never cease to persevere against them until they have been taught a lesson which they and the world will never forget? The task which has been set us is not above our strength. Its pangs and toils are not beyond our endurance. An unconquerable willpower, salvation will not be denied us. Now, we are the masters of our fate.
Holy cow, Vanguard, good stuff. Or Roiba. That's good stuff. Here's the link to that one. That's new because they put a keep star up, NSH did, in MTech O, with the help of Fraternity, of course. And that is their little propaganda for that. So that was a good video, good stuff, good video maker. Way too few views for what he does. Go ahead and check that stuff out. That will be, it's good, right? I love that stuff. It's just so well done. And yeah, definitely like the swagger. So good stuff coming out of NSH. They put up a keep star again in MTech O. And looks like they are going to be living there. And that's the beginning of a new chapter for them. So, right. Well, I think that's all we have today for Talking in Stations. Appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with me in Seddow and looking at BTAC-R as it actually, the NPC station there, which turned into a faction Fortizar, was destroyed just minutes ago. Again, the top story is Helm's Deep on its way down by Wednesday. We assume the final constellation will be overrun. Fortunately, the Imperium was able to escape Helm's Deep, as they do in the movie, I believe. And they are now in 1DQ, mostly, in M2, where we've seen some breakout attempts, or at least some probing to see if they can remove some. I think some capitals actually jumped out. Gregorian, do you know anything about that?
Well, there was every so often. Well, I'm on the Pappy side, and so every so often we go into M2 to shoot bubbles and provoke a response. As far as I know, there have never been any planned operations besides the really big one that got most of the Titans out.
Yeah.
But, and I honestly would have been really surprised if that one yesterday was planned, but every so often we go in and poke to shoot bubbles to see what kind of response we get. Sometimes, as an objective of opportunity, we manage to get Titan or something out. Like, I've heard that we got a Nyx out yesterday.
Oh, so a little here and there. A little here and there?
Yeah. But I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, definitely no major movements. I think right now, I don't know if anything is happening. Maybe it's been called off, but there seems to be some. Let me get the latest on this. Oh, I see. So I'm not sure this is new, so we'll just skip it. We'll report it tomorrow. But again, Helm's Deep kind of overrun. M2 looks like there's a clock ticking because Pappy has the iHub there. So once that iHub matures to a certain point, they can set up a jammer and then at that point, they can pretty much moonwalk out and set themselves up for taking down that Keep Star, which we may see in a while if nothing stops Pappy from controlling that iHub, which they've done so far. They only have a few attempts, I think probably like 7 or 8 left. That's plenty if you think about it. But Imperium at some point has to break that iHub down and destroy it, take the fights and win that. And then they can interrupt that progress. Otherwise, it'll tick away to 35 days or so, and then it becomes a whole new ballgame in MTAC 2. And then we really see the Imperium left to have just this one constellation here, and 1DQ would be the capital. You'll see a final assault on 1DQ. We don't know how big it is or how long it'll take. It could take months. We're talking siege of a city that takes something like 2 months. If it's successful. But right now I don't see any momentum going against the amount of progress that Pappy is doing. There are, however, meta moves that are happening. You can see some of that stuff on the INN and what is it, Reddit? There's talk of
there's a lot of Reddit propaganda right now.
Yeah, the propaganda gets louder when the war starts going in a more accelerated way. I think for a long time when the war is basically a slow moving thing, they're just, you don't have, how can I put this? Imagine a war is like 2 balloons and you're pushing them together. When there's not a lot of pressure, the balloons kind of stay balloons and the war stays in the game. There's some funny business on Reddit or wherever they post it. But when the pressure starts ratcheting up, you start to see the air want to go one way or the other. So you're either like winning in the game and doing all your talking on the ground and actually seeing things flip, seeing Sov taken, seeing structures destroyed. Or if you can't do that, then all that pressure goes to the metasphere where you, talk a big, campaign or talk about what's going on in your own, what am I trying to say here? Basically, it gets really loud in the propaganda sphere. Usually the people who are quieter are the ones who are like winning on the board, on the ground. So right now, I think Pappy has a lot of momentum because, of course, they have more people. And they also have more dedicated pilots that are actually out there doing it. Imperium seems to be in a bit of a lull right now. Maybe their commanders are taking a break. Maybe they've already known that it's going to be 1DQ, so they're resting up for those days, because those days can be long. But where you do see Imperium striking back is actually away from Delve, as Legacy kind of collapses. As you can see from earlier, our conversation with Seddow, it looks like a lot of Legacy space is starting to be abandoned. It's going to be Aquarius and Delve. It looks like maybe even Fountain with Fed up there. That's what it's going to be for the next month or 2 or 3. It could go on for beyond 3 months. That would take it into the proximity of being a year-long war. But the idea that an empire as big and strong as the Imperium being crushed in under a year seems mind-blowing, considering that Winter and Legacy fought for a year. Of course, completely different odds, right? Like Legacy and Winter, about the same size, fighting it out. That war took a year. It was slow. It was grueling. And actually, the real destabilizing factor in that one was Blackout, which really wiped out Winter Coalition's iHub defenses, and kaboom, Test won that war. Or Legacy did. Here you have many, many more people involved, and all that pressure, all those people going up against the Imperium, 2 colossal powers, duking it out, 2 bubbles being crushed together, and you see like it's getting all distorted in all kinds of different ways. But you want to keep your eye on the map, see who's winning the actual fights, and the propaganda is like extra, but that psychological work that people do, either to recruit the opponent or to dissuade them from fighting or to break their commitment to the war, is real work. And it does work. It's just usually that works better when a group is on the run, then you really carve them up with bad press. So I think that's where we're at.
Like, there was this latest propaganda effort is about this one brave Leviathan pilot who allegedly took the Imperium's offer to this brave former member of Goon Swarm, Leviathan pilot, allegedly took the Imperium's offer to take a payment for leaving the war and actually rejoined Goon Swarm, which there are a lot of people saying that this was a spy, and there's no definitive evidence either way, and although there are good cases being made for either possibility.
Well, neither one are believable, so we really don't know. Like but it's kind of neat if you think about it to publicly. I mean, it's not real because it's public, or that's kind of what my feeling is. If it's public, it feels like it's not real. So you see the first guy saying, "Hey, can I inquire about the silver ticket because I know the guy before me took it. So how do I get it? Can you tell me?" Is a very public display of, yeah, sure, we'll pay for your super capital. That's what the silver ticket is. If you're on Pappy's side,
all the people asking stuff on Reddit after that happened I'm sure that's just propaganda.
Yeah, it's like it's hilarious customer service. Like, oh sure, I'll take I'll take your. It's hilarious, and it may be true, but it seems unlikely. At the same time, I don't know if that that first guy isn't legitimate either, right? Like Pappy can't just say like, "Oh, he's a spy, he's going back." There must be some evidence to that. Otherwise, it's just as whatever. By the way, I'm talking to Gregorian. He's from TIS. He's one of our researchers. He's not a guest. Seddow was our guest, and he took off just a few minutes ago. The silver ticket is true as that it's being offered, but we don't know anybody who's taken it that is legitimate. There's talk of it, but we'll encourage them to get in touch with us so we can verify or something. But if it is one pilot, it's really not that much if it's one pilot, and it could very well be true. One person wanted to cash out.
Yeah, one of the weird things that TIS has confirmed about this particular pilot was that makes it somewhat suspicious is that this pilot was not part of Brave's super capital group.
Oh, yeah, that is suspicious. And so Domino Valente here says 3 more are in the works, 3 more silver tickets. May be true, may also not be true. We don't know. If you wanted to create a cascade, this is exactly how you would do it. You would publicly show a lot of this stuff happening instead of it happening in private. Yeah. You would want to see the deal in public, so you would see how good the customer service is and that sort of thing.
Yeah, especially right after some leaks which show that there's some trouble going on in Brave. Especially, you'd want to hammer that down.
Okay.
Because Brave and Legacy recent news has shown some trouble for them, and I suspect that the Imperium would want to really hammer into that trouble in order to drive a wedge into Pappy.
Yeah, sorry, I'm over time. I was supposed to cut off like 15 minutes ago. We have to go. I will go ahead and send you over somewhere else, and we will see you tomorrow on Talking in Stations.